So Keith, is the market going to crash? The
Oh my God.
possibility of a
Holy
market
crap.
crash.
You know, let's talk about that. I love this question. It's my favorite thing, especially here in Silicon Valley. We hear this all the time, and there's always people that want it to crash. And so because there's always people that want it to crash, there's always going to be media about the crash. There's always going to be water cooler talk about the crash. So I want to touch on the crash and talk about the biggest thing that ever happened to Silicon Valley and the nation as far as home went outside of the Great Depression, and that was 2008. 2008 in our area, in the heart of Silicon Valley, our prices dropped 15 to 17%. That was unprecedented. To give an idea, back then we had 13 months of inventory. 13 months of inventory.
So Keith, just what does that exactly mean? 13 months of inventory.
Awesome. Thank you for bringing that up. 13 months means that if all the inventory we had on right now, if no new homes came on the market, it would take 13 months to sell every home that's available right now. Currently, we have 27.
Absorption rate, right?
Yes, right. We're right on there. Yes, I love it. Right now, we have 27 days of inventory. It's not even months. It's days of inventory. So that change that we would have to have would be absolutely dramatic. What we're seeing right now is it's hot. It's unlike anything we've ever seen. One of the things that I love about it right now, as you're talking about the market crash, is we actually have the perfect storm right now. We have something that I've seen only once in my entire 22-year career. It's a seller's market and a buyer's market, because the sellers are getting a lot of offers. It's multiple offers. They're getting great prices for their home, and the interest rates are lower than they've ever been. And so now you're tying into a mortgage rate that's unheard of. Historically, for me, interest rates are usually 4 to 6%. And so when people come in and look at 8% even at some points, right? My dad had points where they were 20%. So when you see this stuff that's in the twos, right, and three, it's absolutely ridiculous. So as far as the market crash goes, we live in an inflation economy. That's a big part that I always love to tell people. I remember, because my dad was a realtor, so now we're going back 40 years. Holy cow. I just realized what I said. My dad was a realtor that the first home that sold for $100,000 in Cupertino, people were completely freaked out. They were like, we can't sustain this. This is ridiculous. It's $100,000 for a house. How is that even possible? That same house right now is 2.8 million. Just let that resonate and think about an inflation economy. An inflation economy right now means that 2.8 million house one day will be $8 million. And that's how it works. Prices of everything goes up: gas, milk, asparagus, houses,
avocados,
right? So exactly, the prices and the toast for the avocados.
Yes.
The prices are always going to shoot up. They're always going to go up. So might we have some fluctuations? Of course, we might have fluctuations, but the possibility of us having a market crash in an area where we don't have any land, we're tight as far as it goes in a congested area. We have some of the biggest companies in the world right now. And I know I'm elongating this, Shannon.
That's okay. That's really useful information.
Awesome. Cool. We are one of the few areas right now that actually improved during all of this mess of the pandemic, because people are on Netflix, they're on Facebook, they're using Google. All of those companies that are right here, they're on their Apple products all day. Who's not sitting with their iPad in their lap on the couch, right? So probably right now. So this is that whole piece that all of these companies are benefiting from what's happened right now, and they're all right here, and there's this talk about people like migrating out because they don't have to commute to work. Do you understand? Some of these companies like Apple, Facebook, etc., are saying, hey, if you want to go move to Texas or Alabama or wherever the case is, that's fine, but we're going to adjust your salary because of the cost of living. So, and now all of a sudden that's going, oh, wait a second, maybe we do want to live here, take advantage of our 3% interest rates, right, and stay in this area. So there's a lot of moving pieces that people don't take into consideration when they're looking for a market crash. And if you listen to all of the top economists, like the people that billionaires listen to, all of them are predicting appreciation in the real estate market. So pay attention to the people that help the billionaires make more money.
Absolutely. And that segues us perfectly into the next slide, where we're going to talk about appreciation and just year over year and month over month statistics, specifically to our local area here. And these are Santa Clara County numbers in specific.
Nice. Awesome. Should
Yeah,
I be
have
talking?
at it.
Or do you want to talk, Shannon?
No, this is something I think that, I mean, you're very, very heavy in the statistics, and you always press to the team, you know, live in the numbers, keep an eye on the data and the facts so that you're not fear mongering and listening to the media. And this is hard numbers of what is actually happening right here, right now. So go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, awesome. That very first thing we see up on that slide, month over month, home sales up 12.7%. This is the time of the year that historically sales start to go down, because we've passed the summer months, school has started, you know, we start to see that change. Historically, November as a month, sales are down 10%. We're seeing a rise in sales. We're seeing the market getting hotter, right? So that's one big piece. And I'm going to touch on why that is in a second. Year over year, from last year to this year, we're up almost 50% in home sales, which is a crazy number to think about, especially since inventory was higher last year than it is this year, and the number of sales is up 50%. So one of the things that we account this to is when the pandemic hit and everything pretty much paused in March. One of people's biggest thoughts out there, you talk about the fear monger, Shannon, was that the market's going to crash because people can't sell their home. The problem was people stopped trying to sell their home. There weren't people out buying homes, but there also weren't people out selling homes. So we didn't have this run of homes during that spring that we usually have. They held that back and waited. So there weren't a bunch of homes out there that buyers were undercutting and getting the prices to go down. So we didn't have that inventory to lower prices. The moment people were able to go inside houses again and see houses, we started seeing the sellers slowly trickle back, but we also started seeing the buyers come out full force because they just missed that hot opportunity of the buying season, and they still want to buy. They still need to buy. Oh, and by the way, Monique, interest rates are still below 3%, right? So they're like, let's go take advantage of this opportunity. So we started to see this rush of transactions, which you're seeing right there. The number of sales going up so much, getting hotter in November. We pretty much transplanted the spring season into the summer, and we've taken the summer now and we've transplanted it into the fall. And now the fall is going to go in the winter, and the fall is actually still relatively hot for Silicon Valley. The winter is where it starts to slow down by our standards, but everything that we have right now, we're going to skip the winter because inventory is so low. People are still buying. We still have the pent up demand. Like we talked about, we had 39 offers on a house yesterday. There's 38 people that didn't get that house that still want to buy a house, right? They're going to carry over, and then we're going to roll right into January, February, March, where it starts to get hot again, and we have low inventory, which we have now, and it's going to start all over. So what we're seeing right now is most likely, based on everything we're seeing and the top economists are saying as well, we're going to roll this real estate market all the way through next year, at least until fall of next year. So right now we watch that wave of that appreciation, and what we're seeing is absolutely ridiculous. And you touched on it right down there at the bottom of the slide, Shannon.
Average home price is up 21% year over year.
Yeah, that's crazy. We've had 21% appreciation in our median home price from last year to this year. That's, I mean, just to think about that, those are great numbers. The hottest years that we have, that's what we have here in Silicon Valley. So if you sat last year and you were waiting for the market to crash, you just lost 20%. If you bought a house for $1.5 million, you just lost $300,000, right? By not making that decision. And unfortunately, in my career, I've had plenty of clients that sat on the sideline waiting for the market to crash, waiting for it to change. The majority of them still don't own a home. And that difference in Silicon Valley, that's where it's made. That's why people buy homes in Silicon Valley, right? We always say the deal in Silicon Valley is getting the home.
Getting the home.
Right? So that's the deal. So once you're in, we see so much wealth. And we've had so many clients, and Shannon, you know this as well, that have continued. Monique, you talked about holding on to the home, right? Use that equity, go buy another one. That's how wealth is created. We have clients that own 8, 9, 10 homes here in Silicon Valley that are just engineers. and they're super wealthy because they made that decision to take this and make that change and go through there. There's a gentleman, what's his name? Warren Buffett. Some people
what?
don't know
Who's
of
that
who
guy?
that guy is, right? I think he loves to invest in real estate. Oh, and by the way, I think he owns our company. But so that's a big aspect to talk about. I mean, he's one of the most brilliant people in business, and he loves real estate. There's a reason for that.
Yep.
Okay,
Definitely opportunities here in Silicon Valley that don't really exist in a lot of other parts of the country. So living here it's definitely a special place, and we can see it through these very special and out of the ordinary numbers.
You know, you brought up the past and you brought up the rates before, Keith. One thing I was looking at, a statistic today, was that, and this is in the US, a $300,000 home in the US in 1970, that payment was $2,400 because of the interest rate in
Wow.
1970. That same payment today with that same $300,000 home is actually $1,200 a month.
wow.
Right?
That's a crazy statistic.
Right.
Monique,
In
I'm gonna ask you to send
1970,
that to me,
that
please.
$300,000 payment, right? That was $2,400 is today $1,200. So
Wow.
when we talk about affordability, we are such a strong market right now. There is such a high percentage of affordability because of those record interest rates being so low.
Right. And we're actually the highest affordability since the early 1990s, which is pretty amazing to think. I mean, it's easier to buy a house now at these prices than it was to buy in the early 1990s. It's pretty amazing. So,
right.
Yep. Yeah. And that absorption rate, Shannon, can I touch on that? Because I know I didn't touch on that, even though
Absolutely.
I went through all this.
Yep. Negative 5%.
Yep. Absorption rate. Absorption rate is how much of the inventory is being eaten up for what's available. So, for example, if 2 out of every 3 homes are selling, you're at a 67% absorption rate. So we're at a negative absorption rate, which means that there's more pending sales than there are homes for sale, which means that we can't get homes on the market fast enough to have them sold. So, and that's one of why you see the numbers that you see here is it's just such a tight market, and there's so much competition because you have more people wanting to buy and just not enough places to buy.
Absolutely. And it's extremely important with the competitive nature of offer scenarios out there to make sure that you guys have very trustworthy and knowledgeable, not only lending partners, but agents on your side. And that's what we're here to help you guys do. So if you have any thoughts about your unique situation, what you can afford in this market, and then moving forward, how to actually get your offer accepted in multiple offer situations, you guys can feel free to reach out to any of us at any time, and we're happy to give you free consultations, of course.
Awesome. Very cool. And just to hit on that note, Monique is fantastic. She does a great job. I've known her forever, and she's going to be truthful. And I think that's one of the things you want in real estate. She's not going to promise you something and you won't get it. She's going to be straightforward about it. And Shannon, knowing that she's been working with me for quite a while now, she's absolutely amazing. Great customer service. She goes crazy for her clients to make sure that they get a good deal. They're taken care of. They get the house, and they just receive exceptional service. So you can't go wrong. Both of these two right here, knock it out of the park.
Absolutely. Making dreams come true.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go. Yeah. And thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much. I feel blessed to be a part of this amazing team between Keith and Shannon, and such a wealth of knowledge. Again, this is the biggest purchase of your life. So you have some amazing professionals here on this presentation. So thanks so much for watching, and thank you so much for having me, Shannon.
Thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your Thursday night and coming here to present with me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Shannon. Appreciate you. Monique,
thank you. I'll let you guys go. This is all going to be recorded. So if you have a family member that maybe missed out on this and wants to see it, please check back on our Facebook page. It'll be up there, Instagram as well, and you can watch the whole presentation over again. All right. I'll see you guys later.
All right.
Yeah.